Hey, visionaries! You are now tuned in to the Starts with a Vision podcast, where everything you do in life starts with a vision. If your vision is clear or foggy, you are in the right place. It's time to go take what's yours, because there's a vision only you can see, and a dream only you can dream. And now, your host, Mr. Starts with a Vision.
What's going on, everybody? This is Mr. Starts with a Vision, and I don't want to waste your time. I want to hop right into today's episode. Today's episode is very amazing, and it's very dope because we have Frank Salas on the line. And what I like about Frank is he's 100% himself, and he makes a full-time living, of course, all online, and he does a lot of traveling across the world. And what's unique about Frank is his vibe and his knowledge base. He really stands out to me because of just the energy that he puts out. He's not trying to, be like anybody or anything like that, and he knows what he's talking about. And so I was really excited to get him on the line. We're going to really be talking a lot about growth hacking because he's really, really good at that. So I am excited to have him on the show today. So here is Frank Salas, also known as the Talented Mr. Salas. What's going on, everybody? This is your dude, your guy, man, Isaiah Fowler, a.k.a. Mr. Starts with a Vision. And we have another high-energy, amazing guest on the show today. We have Frank Salas on the line. And basically, he is, I don't want to say digital nomad because, yes, he does travel the world. But I think that term is kind of getting a little bit cliche and, saturated. So he's an entrepreneur. He's been one since I graduated high school, which makes me feel like a baby, right? But, we're going to talk some really good stuff today. A lot of marketing in the digital space because that's where the world is going. So I want you guys to listen, tune in and really get a lot of value and information from this because this information really could change your life if you do apply it. So Frank, how you doing today?
I am doing phenomenal, man. Thank you so much for having me here, and I'm ready to serve your audience.
Absolutely, man. So you are located where at, really quick?
Right now, I'm located in my hometown of Fort Worth, Texas. I'm hanging out with my dogs, and we're just hanging out. I travel the world about 90% of the year. And you said that I am a digital nomad. I prefer the term international man of leisure.
So that look, man, I like that. That's a little bit more bougie. Why do you prefer that term? Is that just what you coined it, or what's the experience or the story behind it?
Well, I would say, so my brand is the Talented Mr. Salas, and one of my most influential movies growing up was a Talented Mr. Ripley. As you know, they traveled the world and they got over America real quick. And me growing up in America, I was thinking, isn't America the best country in the world? Why are these guys so over America? I was like, well, I also haven't traveled, so maybe I should see what that's about. So I started traveling. I started meeting other people from different walks of life, different cultures, and then I started realizing that, man, people in America, and America's the greatest country, by the way. I love being from America, but we're also very, very oppressed culturally, socially, sexually, just mentally, so many different ways. They brainwash us so many times, and I'm just very thankful to be out here putting out content that isn't talking about fake news or has an agenda. I just want to help you guys out, and if you allow yourselves to receive these messages, I want to trade your low-value thoughts in some areas of your life for some high-value thoughts. You can take the whole rib, eat the meat and spit out the bone, whatever that's like for you. But that's what my intention is for your audience this morning.
I like that, man. You said that's deep right there. Low value thoughts versus high value thoughts. What are some of the, the common low value thoughts that you see to be true or you see a lot of people have?
So first and foremost, I just want to say that life is what you make it. I decided that I was going to be an international man of leisure. I decided that was going to be a part of my lifestyle. That was in my brain, that was in my focus, and I wanted to go down that way. You may be fine and dandy being at home. I know a lady, her name is Brittany Larson, who is out over in Minnesota. She actually lives in a cabin. She enjoys being out there and being solo. And that's what her lifestyle is. So first and foremost, I feel a lot of people are just stuck in a loop. They're like, I have to go to a job. I have to go to an office. It's 2017 and people are working remotely. People are working from home. They're working from cafes, laptops, and you just need a phone and Wi-Fi. And you don't even have to have like a Verizon phone or AT&T phone. You can like download a free app right now and get a phone number wherever you want in the world and say, okay, I've got a phone. And people just don't think like that because they're so accustomed to the way that things were. And what I want to do is educate and show some light on where things are going. Right.
I like that a lot, man. I think that just the whole, digital age and the internet, it's so empowering more than anything. And I think it's so life-changing because, things like this, you're in Dallas, I'm in Atlanta, and, that's very local. But even if you were overseas, we would still be able to make this happen for the simple fact of technology. So that's very, very big, man. So, you started entrepreneuring, being an entrepreneur back in 2008, you said. So how did you get started? Did you go straight online or were you doing something else first? Or, how did everything look?
Yeah, great question. So it's funny because you said you graduated high school in 2008 and I started my first business. So I'm 30 years old. I started my first business when I was 20 and I dropped out of college in my senior year. And everyone's all like, oh, you only had a year to go. You only had a year to go. And I'm like, yeah, you don't understand. Like, I'm not going to do 365s there in fucking prison. Excuse my language, but that's how I felt, and it was just like, because I knew that about myself, I knew I wanted a different opportunity. So I decided, and I'm going to say that again, I made a conscientious choice that this was how I was going to live my life. I dropped out of school, started my first business, and it was a spray tanning business. It was a brick and mortar business. And this was back before the Kardashians made spray tanning cool. Back then, everyone's reference of a spray tan was Ross from Friends getting that messed up spray tan and looking orange and all that kind of stuff. So that was what I had to combat with. I had to introduce a new concept to the marketplace, much like we're doing now, much like a lot of us are selling social media services or marketing services in the digital space to people that didn't understand this. They're used to billboards, magazines, newspapers, radio, television. And if you notice, the World Series is sponsored by YouTube. I'm going to say that again. The World Series is not sponsored by Coca-Cola, Pepsi, none of those big brands. It's sponsored by YouTube, guys. And that's where things are heading. If you can't understand that, that's a low value thought that I want to exchange for a high value thought, that the world isn't changing. It already has changing. And if you are slow to catch up, you are a laggard. You are going to be left behind. And there's a wave of new millionaires, new thousandaires, new wealth being created online. And all you have to do is just plug into that and bring it to your business. So when I first got started, it was a brick and mortar business. It was very successful. I actually franchised my first business at the age of 23. And then I'm sitting here at 23 with two businesses and they're brick and mortar. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do this. The money's there, the business is there, but this doesn't feel good to me. So I shut it down. Everyone's all like, oh, Frank, your business was so successful. Why'd you shut it down? And I'm like, yo, screw you. You don't have to live my life. Like I was having to have inventory, employees, this. Like I wasn't happy. And the people around me were receiving some benefits or whatever they thought they were getting. And I was like, yo, this is my life. And this is how I want to live my way. So I went down to Austin, Texas. I started my second business, which was a real estate business. And then I was very successful at that. But then I realized that I was an employee of my own business. I was self-employed. I wasn't a business owner. And for those of you guys who are familiar with Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which most people are, there's a second book called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And it talks about the different steps and different types of entrepreneurs. So because of that, I was like, okay, if I stop selling homes, if I stop showing houses on Saturdays and Sundays, I ain't getting paid. And the money's really, really good, but I got a job. So I then decided, again, the money was good, the business was there, but I wasn't happy. So then I decided that, you know what, I've been getting my leads. I've been growing my businesses exclusively through social media, exclusively online. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe I should help other businesses do this full time because I've been doing it part time and as a consultant basis. But I was like, okay, no employees, no overhead. I can travel the world and I can finally live that lifestyle of being an international man of leisure. Perfect. And I started doing that, and and I focused everything on it. I didn't sit around scratching lotto tickets hoping that I was going to make it happen.
Right.
I got educated. I took the action. I listened to what the marketplace was saying. I tweaked that. I tested it over and over and over again, and I was consistent. And back in this time, which was in 2015, Periscope had just came out. For those of you guys who remember that, and it was like huge and blah, blah, blah. And that's where I got my initial follow. Like an influx of followers came to buy my courses, my programs, my consulting, my services. And I was very blessed to be an early adopter. Remember, if you are not taking advantage now, you are a lagger. You are not an early adopter. And what I would like to impose on is I like to impose my thoughts of being an early adopter as opposed to being a lagger. So take your low value thoughts and exchange it for my high value thoughts. So that's I know that was a little bit out there, but hopefully I was able to drop that message to your audience, Mr. Isaiah.
No, absolutely, man. That's a lot, man. I wrote a list down of things that we have to talk about here, right?
Yeah.
But so first off, you said, and I get this, but YouTube sponsored the World Series. So can you just let everybody know what that really means? Like, what does, I understand how sponsorships work, but I want you, from your perspective, what does that mean, the fact that YouTube sponsored the World Series?
That means that social media companies like YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, who's owned by Facebook, these companies are now the new Coca-Cola. They're the new AT&T. They're the new New York Life. They're quickly going to replace all the big brands. And the reason for that is, I'm going to say that again so it really hits your audience. The reason for that is because these are brands that every one of us can contribute to for $0 and 0 cents. And we can either go out and do negative, and you can see a bunch of people making, very negative videos, or you can make people do stupid videos where it's like really fun and blah, 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 and kind of funny. Or you could do what we do, and we can provide a lot of good, a lot of positive. And I feel like everybody who's watching this, they have some sort of expertise. They have some sort of value that they want to contribute to the world, but they're like, I'm stuck in this life. I'm stuck at being a mom. I'm stuck being a dad. I'm stuck at an office. I'm stuck in school. And I'm like, you don't need to do that. That is caveman thinking. We are living with the Jetsons right now. We have video phones. We have solar powered cars. They're about to put a rocket where you can go from New York to Australia in 45 minutes. We're trying to go to Mars. Like, the world is changing. And if you are not adapting, you are going to be a lagger. And what I'm trying to impose is I want to impose my thoughts and my values of being an early adopter to take advantage of this now.
Okay. And so, where do you think that we're at in terms of like the early adoption, right? So me personally, like, for example, podcasting has always been around. Now, right now, it's like going through another boom. I remember it went through a boom maybe 2.5 to 3 years ago, maybe a little bit after that. But, it's going through a boom right now. And the people who are getting in right now doesn't mean that they're an early adopter, but it still is a little bit early. So, from your perspective, what should people be adopting early on right now, or what's something that you can say is a early adoption if they got in right now?
So first and foremost, I'm going to tell you how to go. And I already know how most 99.9% of people are going to respond just as a human being. And I'm going to give you a solution. So the first thing you got to do is you got to get here, guys. You got to say what's up to us. Because and I'm going to give you some bro science. By the way, I'm not a scientist. I didn't graduate college. I'm an immigrant. I'm a Mexican American. I'm super uneducated. English is my second language. I was born homeless, and I don't know jack S about jack S. But I know some bro science, and I'm about to hit you with some bro science. When you see this as a human being, you have no choice but to register our faces, and you automatically trust us. And the reason for that is because our brains, they're not used to this new technology. They're used to 40,000 years ago when we were cavemen. And if I saw Mr. Fowler, Isaiah, if I saw him out in the jungle and he didn't kill me and I didn't kill him, I would say, okay, I got some trust there. Because the next time we run in and I got my squad, my tribe, and he's got his tribe, and we've got our axes and we've got our little picks and sticks, we're not going to kill each other because I'm going to say, yo, I know that guy. And the last time I met him, he didn't kill me. And he's going to say, yo, I know that guy. And the last time I met him, he didn't kill me. Let me go see what he wants. And let's establish trade. Let's go ahead and, build a society. And I know that's a little bit out there, a little woo-woo, but, there's a lot of stuff. And you want to look up the reptilian brain and just the wiring of our brains, which are computers. But yeah, when people see your face and hear your voice, they have no choice but to know, like, or trust you. If you meet a stranger, you got to make 3 choices. You either want to fight them, you want to F them, the other F, or, replicate with them, or you want to run away. Those are the three choices that a human being makes. If you don't do those three, or if you got to do one of those three, but the reason for that is because our brain's trying to protect us at all times. That's why you get scared. That's why you get emotional. That's what our brain's natural response is programmed to do. So the reason I'm going long-winded about that is because when people see your face, they have no choice but to know you, like you, and trust you. And people they give money from their pockets, from their wallets. I'm talking euros, yens, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, Mexican pesos, Colombian pesos, and cold, hard American dollars with dead presidents on them into your bank account. And the way for you to build that relationship is by showing your face. And I'm hearing you right now. Oh, Frank, I'm so scared. I don't want to I have a problem talking in front of my family. Go to this thing called Toastmasters. Toastmasters changed my life. When I first heard of Toastmasters, I thought that I was going to go to like a bar and learn how to give like awesome shot speeches. I found out what it was, and it was a public speaking community and a public speaking association. And when I found this out, I was like, oh man, this is legit, because this is where I'm taking my life. And I spent 3 years of my life every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. from the age of 26, 27, and 28, my mid to late 20s. Every Tuesday night, I stopped going to Austin, Texas. Shout out to Austin, Texas, and hitting on hipster chicks at trivia night at all the bars and drinking craft beers with my buddies and doing all that. And I was like, look, I'm going to dedicate my life to this because I know this is going to be big. I know that social media right now is like websites in 1993. It hasn't hit yet. It's just now hitting. And that's where I committed and I decided to take my life. So this is from somebody who lives very extremely, by the way. I started my first business at the age of 20. I don't live by society's rules. I travel the world 90% of the year. I don't have a personal home. I don't have a personal car, and I don't have a cell phone. These are things that I do by choice. These are personal decisions because I'm unplugged from the matrix. A lot of people are working to keep their house. They're working to keep their cars, and they don't own those things. Those things own them.
So that's very, very, very deep, man. And a lot was said within that. But I think one of the biggest things that you said was, you didn't even say it, but you said it without saying it, was you made a sacrifice. And the sacrifice you made was when you were 26, 7, 8, and 9, right? You went to do Toastmasters for 3 years instead of kicking in and chilling and stuff like that. And you worked on yourself. So what else did you have to give up that you really enjoyed or that you really wanted to do? And instead of, like hitting on the hipster chicks, right? What are other things that you had to sacrifice in order to focus and become a better person so that now you can do what you're currently doing?
Yo, first and foremost, I just want to say that I will still hit on a hipster chick if I'm on my way to Toastmasters. If we're on the way to traffic, there was no sacrifice to me because for me, I was reallocating my time. So I was still making personal choices to go do what I want to do and live my life and be single and be young. But for me, going to Toastmasters wasn't a sacrifice. Right. A lot of people would think, oh, that's a sacrifice. I was like, no, I'm just shedding old habits to grow into a lifestyle that actually is going to serve me. The lifestyle that's going to make me happy. And if, I very rarely even drink nowadays because I would rather not have a hangover. I'd rather not poison my body with that stuff. I work out. I take care of myself. I like to be high energy. So yeah, I don't think of it as sacrifices, but other people might think of it as sacrifices. Right. And what you got to realize is that when you do this journey, not everyone's going to understand what you do. Talking about your people all around you, they're not going to understand, especially right now. Like if you're an early adopter in a new industry and it quote unquote hasn't hit yet, but YouTube is sponsoring the World Series. If you're building a business and it takes some time, it typically takes 2 to 3 years to build up any business. And I've done it 3 times. This is my 3rd one. Somewhere around year 2 or 3, that's when it actually starts to hit like you think it's about to hit. Not many people have like an overnight success. Some people do. In my first month in my social media practice, I made $10,000, which for some people is a lot of money. For me, coming from real estate, that's half a check. I'm like, damn, I got this for the whole month, and I just get this on I got double this in one deal. So it's all about perspective. And so I don't think there's any sacrifices, but other people might think, oh, well, I got to give up this. I got to give up that. So what you might have to give up is you might have to give up hanging out with your friends who are going to stay at 60 to 80,000 30 to 40,000 per year, 100 to 125,000 per year. You might have to trade those friends in for a book, for a course, for a journey, for a club, for an association, for cold calling on the phone 10 hours a day trying to build up your business, for sending out cold emails, for going to seminars, for going to conferences. And I love that stuff. I'm crazy, I'm weird, and I love that stuff. So for me, if you want to be one of my friends, you got to be growing. If you're not growing, we can't hang out, just straight up.
Right. And what does growing mean to you?
Growing, a lot of people think growing means, I got the BMW 5 Series from the BMW 3 Series. For me, growing is becoming a better person, is working out, it's reading, being educated, always advancing, following your dreams, even if it doesn't align with my dreams. If your dream is to go to college and get a degree, hey, man, if that's what you want to do, man, I'm really happy for you. I got some friends that make $40,000 a year working for Amazon. They drive around their truck. They got their family, they got their house with the picket fence, and they're happy. And I'm like, you know what? That's cool, man. They're happy being, at their kids' little league games. They want to be a good dad or a good mom. Man, that's really cool. I can definitely support that because that's what they want. You don't need to have this, and this for me to hang out. I just want you to be like positive and forward, growing.
Right. Absolutely, man. And so now, back on a marketing topic, if you will, you talked about the face recognition. You talked about how that plays a factor in, businesses being built now. So, you talked about that a little bit. You touched on it. So like for somebody who wants to grow their business or start a business in 2018, from what you said about just having a face to a brand, what are your predictions for 2018? And what is something that you would recommend, or what advice do you have for people looking to grow and or start their businesses in 2018?
So first and foremost, video 100%. You got to do video. And my prediction is that influencer marketing is going to finally hit. For those of people who've been building up your accounts, who've been building up your followers as a personal brand, and you've done it the right way, you haven't bought fake followers, you haven't been putting out inconsistent content. Like for people who follow me, if you like business, if you like swag, if you like travel, I'm your boy. If you like yoga and cigars, I'm your boy. Like that's me. And those yoga companies, those cigar companies are going to be like, man, this guy's a positive influence and he happens to smoke cigars and he happens to do yoga. We should probably pay him and give him yoga mats. He could do sponsored reviews on our stuff, and that's going to be bigger and bigger. And the proof is already showing up. Last year on my YouTube account, I was only making like 30 cents a month. This month, I'm about to make about $40 or $50. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm like, do you understand the growth in that? What's that going to be next year? Because the ad rates are constantly going up. They're getting the market share. YouTube has their own channel right now. They're broadcasting live events. Everyone's unplugging from cable and satellite. That's where the new media is headed. And I'm like, all right, this is paying off. Hell yeah. So this month, I could buy some used Jordans, dog. What up?
From the $40, huh?
Yo.
Or a couple of those $40. Nah, that's really, really, really good stuff, man. And what I like about that is, a lot of people, they're scared to do a video, right? And me personally, I'm a video whore almost. Like I'm a Facebook Live whore. I go live like 1 to 2 times a day almost, right? And that's kind of who I am. But for you, like what advice would you give somebody who is scared or nervous to go live or to make a video? Because I hear this all the time. Literally, I'm nervous to make a live or whatever, So what advice would you give to them to kind of kick them in the ass to let them know, like, this is real?
So straight up, bottom line, cut through all the positivity, the motivation bullshit, straight up talking dollars and cents to your bank account. Would you rather look at your kids 20 years from now and say, I was too weak-minded, I was too scared to go down this route, to join these millionaires that came in this time? And for those of you guys who ever read the book, The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, I strongly recommend for you guys.
This is that time right now.
Yeah, this is that time. So for those of you guys who don't know that whole outlier thing, it's very simple. I'm going to give you a super quick story so you can comprehend this. So back in the late 1800s, J.P. Chase, or Walter Chase. Is that his name? Walter Chase? Walter.
Yeah.
The guy who founded Chase, he saw that businesses had a banking system, but B2C customers, people didn't have a banking system. They were still hiding their stuff in mattresses. We were getting more advanced as society. People were getting more wealth, and they needed a banking system that they could trust in. And he was like, yo, there's no banks right now. This is a blue ocean. For those of you guys who've never read the Blue Ocean Strategy, make sure you educate yourself on that. But basically, it's wide open and no one's doing it right now. And if he would have done that, started that business 20 years before that, no one would have had the money or the sense to put it in a bank. And if he would have done it 20 years later, there would have already be banks all over the place. And he was in the right place at the right time with the right opportunity. And he put the right amount of work into his business at the right times because he understood this. And he went forward with that. And when he did, we all know his name. Everybody has his name in our pocketbooks. Everybody uses Chase Quick Pay because their company's still adapting. They're going new. They're constantly leading the industry. And that is what becoming an early adopter is all about. So that's what I recommend is, really put yourself out there and think about that. And then weigh that versus your crappy, low value thought excuses. Like literally, you either got swag or you don't. And if you don't have swag, all you got to do is take action and you get swag.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. And just work on yourself, like if you're lacking something, then work on it. A lot of times they say, know your strengths and double down on that. And as I do agree with that, I think it's very important to know what you're weak at, because if what you're weak at is needed where you want to go, then you actually do have to work on that weakness. So like, it's all about knowing where you want to go, who you are and stuff like that. But that's fire, man. I like that a lot. So what's your, what's kind of like the future look like for you? And not saying you're a psychic, but what are your biggest goals, for the future?
Yeah. And so for me, right now, I'm building my personal brand because I am still involved in real estate. I took a break on that because I knew this was going to be huge. And I'm putting myself out as an influencer, as a personal brand, because I've got other companies. I've got a recruiting business. I recruit people from different markets in Latin America, Eastern Europe, Asia. And I know the world is going to have, we're going to have this thing called globalization. We're already experiencing it now. There will be a global minimum wage. There will be all these global benefits. We're going to be a global society. Probably within the next 40 or 50 years, we won't even have countries like we do now where we're fighting over each other. We're going to have like a community of earthlings trying to infiltrate or terraform different planets like Mars, and we're going to grow. This is the turn of our civilization because we can all talk to each other. Before, you would see me and think, oh, Frank's different than me, and I would see Isaiah and say, oh, Isaiah is different than him, and I would have all these pre-assumed thoughts. But now, because we can communicate, and I know Isaiah probably watches Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, we have a lot of similar life experiences. I know we're similar, and a lot of people are having those realizations all across the world as technology and communication makes it easier for us to talk. With that being said, I'm using social media as a platform to open up opportunity for different parts of my business, because I've actually generated private investors from my real estate. Or for my real estate practices. I get clients up the wazoo for my marketing services, for my consulting services, for my recruiting services. And I do speaking events. I get paid for those. And it's just a platform for me. I know somebody like Gary Vee's like, I want to capture your attention and blah, blah, blah. And, that's great. There's a lot of people who maybe need that and they're in that phase of your business. But if you're already motivated, if you're already an action taker and you don't know like the technical things, when it comes to marketing or outsourcing or growing your business, you want to follow me. You can either learn how to do it yourself or you can just work with my organizations and we'll do it for you. And that opens up a lot of opportunity for me. So that's kind of where I'm headed. I'm looking for a cigar sponsor. I'm looking for a yoga sponsor. I need me some sunglasses sponsors. I'm looking to partner up or even start my own suit company just because a lot of people, they're like, oh, Frank, I like your suits. I like your cigars. Where do you get them? And I'm tired of sending them other places. I'd rather get paid on them.
Absolutely. So you're going the personal brand route. You have one, of course, right? You have a personal brand. So like my question now is like, what are some of the things that you've benefited from by building a personal brand up to this point? Because I want people to know that this shit is real, So what are some of the things that you've done and, you've been able to accomplish, and some of the, just like the dope, like the stories that, people think are unicorns?
Right. So this is for people who are maybe savvy to Dallas. So Dallas is very traditional, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I was on Cinco de Mayo. I was dating this nice little, white girl, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Hipster?
No, actually, she wasn't. She was not a hipster, super cute, Cali girl. And for Cinco de Mayo, I was like, look, I'm going to take you to a real Cinco de Mayo restaurant. And we went to like a nice restaurant in Highland Village, which is like the uppitiest of the uppitiest place in all of Dallas, Texas, maybe even the United States. I don't know. I haven't been everywhere. But in my experience, it has. So I get there. I go to the bar, and I'm here with my girl. And then this guy, like old school white guy, like super white hair, never would talk to me, never would think about looking at me. He comes over, and he's like, Mr. Salas, and he shakes my hand, and he's talking to me, and he's like, I want to hire you to do this. I need some consulting for this, and this. And I'm like, hey, I really appreciate it, but I'm on a date right now. Like, I'm just like, I'm doing my thing. He's like, do you have a card? And I was like, no, I don't do cards. Like, let me get your card. And I got his card. I got his phone number. And then the girl who I'm with, like, I don't tell the girls that I date what I do because it's like weird, and I don't even want to explain it.
Right, because you really can't. It's hard to like explain, like, yeah, like it's too much to explain.
Right. So, she's like, what was that about? I was like, I don't know. He's like, he kind of talked to you like you were famous. And I was like, no, I'm not famous. I'm just a regular dude, But anywho, that guy right there is a guy. That's an 8-figure net worth kind of guy who has 8-figure net worth friends who does business with me. They invest in private deals. They're always having businesses. They're acquiring company. They're merging with companies, and they need support. And that's a constant cash flow source for me and my businesses. That's one of them. When I'm out when I'm traveling and I'm like, you know what? I want to stay at a nice hotel. I will go to the hotel managers and I say, yo, I got 15,000 Facebook followers. I got 5,000 Instagram followers. I got a few hundred people on my YouTube channel. I got a few thousand people on my Twitter page. Let me stay here for free. That's what I say. And I stay there for free. When I go to sushi spots, I'll leave reviews and stuff like that, and I'll get a bunch of comp stuff. I had this one guy when I was leaving the bank. This was kind of scary, actually. So I just deposited a decent check in the bank in Austin, Texas, and I was walking down the street, and I had some cash in my pocket, and they were like, yo, Mr. Salas. And I'm like, oh, crap, I'm about to get mugged, because I don't know just how I felt. And they were like, what's up? And then they invited me to do some consulting for them in their multi-level marketing business, and I got to meet a lot more people. So it's opened up a lot of doors. When I go to cities and I don't know anybody, I'll post up, hey, I'm in this place. And people will come up and be like, yo, I got your favorite cigar. There's this yoga spot. Come meet with me over here. Hey, we're doing sushi over here. I know you like sushi. And they invite you. They're more open. And of course, they want some advice. They want some guidance and stuff. But it's just like opening up doors, because just as much as they're learning from me, I'm learning from them. So it's a great exchange. It's a great value. And, I never need anything anymore. Like if I need something, I just ask, which is cool.
Right. Because you just have that clout, that social currency, so to speak, like Jonah Berger talks about in Contagious.
Yeah, man. I call it swag.
Yeah, I like that, man. I like that. Well, that's that's gold, man. And, if anybody is listening and you're not sold on, the internet or the social media thing yet, I don't know if there is hope, because what other evidence do you need, right? Like he just told you people have came up to him and he got private money. Like that's major, and there's people that I try to tell that same thing too. And they're kind of like, so I'm glad that you're saying that. I know one time I went to IKEA, somebody ran up on me and was like, hey man, I know you on Instagram and I follow you. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this shit is crazy, So it really is, it's very interesting to say the least, but I'm glad that you disclose that information and just really being transparent in that regard, because I want people to know that this stuff is real and it's not just some foo-foo and it's not just a joke, right? So yeah, man. So those are your goals for the future. Do you have any, what's like the best advice that you could give somebody who right now is maybe, not motivated, but the realest advice that you could give them?
Yeah, man, and I've got one story because I want to maybe share a story about ROI because
Absolutely.
a lot of people are like, oh, free hotel, oh, handshake, oh, introductions, oh, free cigars, like, oh, that's great, but how does it make money? Everyone always asks me, how does social media make money? Here's the story. So I sell real estate in Austin, Texas. One of my strategies to generate leads for my business and brand awareness and market share acquisition is to go on Instagram, and I pay a virtual assistant in the Philippines $2 an hour, because that's a lot of money over there. And they like hyper local hashtags. So for example, Austin, Texas is short for ATX. So I look at hashtag ATX fit, hashtag ATX art, hashtag ATX fitness, hashtag ATX party, hashtag ATX nightlife, hashtag ATX football, hashtag ATX 40 or ATX weights, whatever, like really hyper local hashtags that only people in those marketplaces would use. I pay a virtual assistant to like those photos every day. All they do is like those photos. That's all they do. They just like photos for people that use that hashtag. So this was back in 2015. I was working out and I was at the gym, and this like Amazon woman looking like Wonder Woman comes up to me and she's all like, hey, do you sell houses? And I don't have my Remax hat on. I don't have my Remax shirt on. I was like, yeah, how'd you know? And she's like, you like my photos every day on Instagram. And like, I didn't want to tell her that it was somebody else. I just kind of went with it. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, for sure. It's like, what's up? She's like, well, my husband and I, we need to sell our home now and we need to get a bigger home because we want to grow our family. And I'm like, all right, cool. Turns out the home that she sold was $750,000. The home that she was getting into was $1.5 million with an M dollars. And if you know real estate, you make 6% on that. Well, I like to generate the buyers. I like to generate the sellers. So
okay. So yeah, you make the whole 6%.
And that's because I have an aggressive campaign to target sellers and buyers. I do both. And I don't have to rely on the marketplace or other realtors. I like to have my own everything, control everything in-house. So most people would get 3%. I like to get 6%. Sometimes I get 3%. If they bring me a qualified buyer, I'm not going to say no, but I try to get the 6%. And on the seller side, I got the 6%. On the buyer side, we actually work with the builder. So I got 4% and a bunch of other like Amex cards and, a lot of goodies that they hooked us up with. So that was pretty cool. Shout out to Taylor Morrison out in Austin, Texas. Really appreciate the love. So final thing for somebody who hasn't maybe yet taken the action after hearing these stories is, what else are you going to do? Are you going to stay at your job and make $40,000 or $100,000 for the rest of your life? I can't convince you to be great. You're either great or you're not. You have great intentions or you don't. They say everyone's born great. I disagree. I believe everyone is born average. Society makes you even more average. And if you decide to unplug from the matrix and not listen to other people, which is really, really hard. And I'm very thankful that I had my upbringing because I was able to just not care about what other people thought and just move forward. So if you're able to do that, which again is not the easiest thing to do, but once you unplug from the matrix and other people's thoughts and you listen to yourself in here and in here, and you really know if this is in alignment, once you really know what you want, like I want to be an international man of leisure. I desire to be that. I am that. And I created that for my life. And that's what you got to do. So figure out, what do you want? How to get there. Social media can help get you there because it'll get you the resources. Everything you want is going to need money. Social media is going to be a great way for you to generate B2B and B2C leads. And that's business to business or business to customer leads.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. Well, that's a whole bunch of knowledge. That's a whole bunch of nuggets. So everybody who's listening, man, I hope you're listening and I hope you're taking notes and I hope you re-listen and I hope you do what you need to do because this is very important and it's crazy. It's real. And friend, you've given so much knowledge and wisdom today, man. I'm just very, very appreciative of that. Most definitely, man. So how can people find out about you?
First and foremost, I am most active on my Facebook page. You can find me everywhere on social media at Talented Mr Salas. If you're somebody that wants to take the next steps, I do offer mentorship. I do offer consulting, and I've got a plethora of services in many different industries where I can serve your business. Go ahead and visit me at www.talentedmrsalas.com. But if you want to have a conversation with me, go to Facebook. Send me a message. I have an automated chatbot. His name is Chives because I've always wanted a butler named Chives. So he's my digital butler that will guide you into whatever you're looking to do. If you want more revenue, if you want more real estate, if you want mentorship, Chives will help you out, man. And Chives is the bomb, dude. I can't go without showing you Chives real quick. So
Let's see Chives.
So if you want to meet my boy Chives, all you got to do is go to bit.ly/Salas chatbot. So bit.ly/Salas chatbot. No S. bit.ly/Salas chatbot. And this is my boy Chives right here, man. So Chives is a robot. Chives only sees money. He smokes cigars, he wears suits, and he's always got a few Ben Franklins, a few blue strips with him. And so this is a chatbot, and this is how you can automate your conversations with your future.
We can't see your screen.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah, we can't see it.
How about now?
Yeah, we can see it now.
All right, cool. So this is Chives. Let me zoom in on my boy, man. He's clean. And Chives got different outfits, man. Like if you talk with my chatbots, you're gonna see his different outfits. He's got different swags. He's got some with ascots, man. He's just stunting, dude. So anybody who knows me knows Chives. Chives handles everything. I love automation, and Chives helps me do that. So this is a chatbot, and you can find this by going to bit.ly/Salas chatbot. And an example is you can click on this, hit send to Messenger, and it'll demonstrate how chatbots work. And I actually send this to businesses to demonstrate what I can do for their business. Mm-hmm. So, it says, I just added you to my bot list, which is like an email list, but on the Facebook Messenger app. By the way, I have a digital marketing course called Chatbot Profits that shows you how to build this for your business. So when you go to Facebook, this is what pops up. So it's like, howdy, Frank, how can I help you? And then you say more revenue, real estate, outsourcing. People can click on that and they can automatically have a conversation with my chatbot Chives, and Chives will then guide them in the right direction. So you'll be able to see, is your business, or are you currently investing in marketing in your business now? Either yes or no. If you say yes, it'll then qualify you and put you in different brackets to see how much money you're spending on your marketing right now. And this is a way that I qualify people in my business. And guess what? Right now, I already have their Facebook profile in my bot list. I don't need their phone number. I don't need their email. I don't need anything. I can send them a message right now. I can go to my back end and say, oh, I know you're looking for marketing help, and here's something cool. And here's an offer to do business with me. And this is the opportunity that you have, as opposed to going to a networking group and saying, hi, my name is Frank. I do marketing. If you want marketing help, I'm your boy. This is where things are headed, man. People don't want to talk anymore. They just want results. They have a problem, and you want to offer a solution.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, that right there, I hope everybody got. That's fire. I'm actually working on some chatbot stuff right now as well. So I like that, man. I like that, and I like Chives too. He's fresh.
He's stunning like his daddy, man.
Yo, you're hilarious, man. It's funny, man. But I want to say thank you so much, man. I appreciate your time. This was a great conversation, and it was so much in here, man. So if you're listening, listen to it again, because this is very, very, very real. So, Frank, man, if you don't have anything else to say, then that's going to be today's episode. And we're going to stop this right here and catch you guys on the next show.
Thanks for listening to the Starts with a Vision podcast. Come get your vision clear at www.startswithavision.com. See you there.